So think Philos asked, like, what version of the PSR do you accept, Kenny?
Yeah. So the version of the PSR that I accept, and I accept it as a conclusion, not a premise. So my starting point is we should prefer views that leave fewer things unexplained, other things being equal. And then I argue that the classical theist view leaves nothing unexplained. So so then I get the PSR as a conclusion. And the version that I accept is that everything that stands in need of explanation is fully explained. So I think there are what I borrow from Shamik Dasgupta, the distinction between brute facts and autonomous facts. So a brute fact is something that stands in need of explanation but doesn't have an explanation, and I reject those. Autonomous facts are facts that don't stand in need of explanation. It's a mistake to ask why. And Dasgupta's examples, which I also think are plausible, of autonomous facts are definitions. Not just definitions of words, but also real definitions, definitions of things. So that's a kind of old-fashioned Aristotelian distinction, but it's one I think we very much still need in common sense and in science. For example, physicists know what the word dark matter means, but as of this moment, no one knows what dark matter is. And so that question, what dark matter is a question about a real definition. Water is H2O or something like that. Water's 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen, covalently bonded properly or whatever. That's a real definition as well. And so those facts are autonomous. They don't stand in need of explanation. If I ask, why does this stuff contain hydrogen? Because it's water is one possible way of answering that question. Why does water contain hydrogen is not a good question. That's just what water is. So autonomous facts don't need explanations. And not all explanations are necessitating. That is, you can explain something without it following necessarily from the explanation that the thing has to be true. And I don't believe in contrastive facts. So there's no such thing as the fact that I chose to accept rather than decline this podcast invitation. There's just that I chose to accept and not decline. And we can explain those things in terms of the reasons that I had without necessitating the outcome. So that's going to be a somewhat weaker version of the PSR than is endorsed by Spinoza and Leibniz. It's going to be pretty darn close to the one that Alexander Proust defends in his book on the principle of sufficient reason.